Hello everybody and welcome to the Redneckologist show. This is Spur.
And I'm Coot.
And we're here today to talk about how to build a pig pen.
Well, maybe how to better a pig pen. We had one built, but...
Right, but it wasn't there before we started. It was kind of trial and error. Now, before we get started though, let me just say this pig pen is not your normal pig pen you see out in the middle of the country roads and where they just put up sheet panels or something or pallets or whatever to raise hogs to slaughter. This is a show pig pen.
4-H.
4-H. Yeah, we have an 8-year-old. No, he's 10.
He's 10.
10-year-old.
He was 8. But...
Yeah, he was 8 at one point in time. I was right 2 years ago. Anyway, so he's in 4-H and he is showing pigs. And last year he showed one. And he named her Sally, and she came in 4th place. So
good-looking pig.
Oh yeah, and they did a little auction thing for advertising, and he got a little bit of money on that endeavor. And so he's decided to invest that money this year into purchasing 2 pigs.
And better than a pen.
Yes, and well, that again was trial and error. Of course, my son, we're making him do the lion's share of the work. Now, of course, we have to build the pen and all of that because he's not old enough to do all of that just yet. But he did help, but he's responsible for cleaning that pig pen, feeding the pig, watering, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, he's one of them good hand-me boys. Hand me that right there and hand me this over here.
Yeah, when we're actually doing the building part. But so I'm going to have a video to show you here in just a few minutes. But before we play the video, I want to say a few things about it that you're not going to see on the video. And the first one is the concrete area. We used fill rock. Our driveway is gravel, and right where the driveway meets the county road, a lot of water rushes through there. We do not have a culvert, and it was washing away. So we took the tractor and scooped out a bunch of dirt and put huge rock down in there and then covered that with 2-inch rock to solidify the bottom of the driveway.
Yeah, we had to have something down there to hold our vehicles up.
So we had some of that big large rock left over, and so we scooped the pig pen out with the tractor scoop the best we could, framed it into quarters and tried to do it, a quarter section at a time. I wanted the house area to be higher than the rest of the area around it, so we put a little more concrete in there. It's a 16 by 16 foot. Without the rock, it probably would have taken about 50 bags of cement, maybe more, but since we put that big rock down in there, we poured it around that rock, which made it stronger, and then we only had to use about 27 bags, I think.
Yeah, that rock acted as a filler.
Right. So that's one way to do it if you want to do it like that, but you have to make sure you press that rock down level or it'll stick up through the top of the concrete, and you don't want a bunch of rocks sticking up.
No, we had to pour the cement deep enough to get it up above the rock.
Right. So another thing to point out is that one fence corner was already there. Okay, so we built this where a cattle fence had come down into a corner, and there was already an iron corner post with the angled post coming out, at a 90-degree angle, and then there was already T-posts there and all of that, but we put those hip rails, and you'll see on the video the hip rails, shoulder rails for the pigs, and I'll show you how we built a training area and all of that, but we did use chain link fence posts.
Yes.
So we don't have it all wired up yet, but the house is built, and you'll see that in the video. Is there anything you want to say before we show the video?
Well, the reason all the hip rails and things are down now, last year we had a dirt pen, and what we did was modified our dirt pen. We had to pull our hip rails. We left the bottom rails. Now you got a bottom rail around the bottom so your hog won't root out, and we just used that as a form to pour the cement in.
Yes, and so we just filled it up because they can't root through the concrete. And I'm going to point out in the video, too, that we're going to use 2x4s on the outside of the fence to pull the gap in. And you'll see it in the video. So I think it's about time to roll that footage.
Okay.
All right. All right, so here we are at the hog pen, pig pen. These are show pigs, as we discussed already. I'm going to show you some of the features of it that we had already talked about. Here's the arch. So it's steel arch. We found this. It was already on property, and we had decided not to have livestock in that area, so we moved this arch over here and sunk it down into the ground. And then this is a panel, fence panel here is also from property already. It's not attached, we just have it the right size, and we're going to wire it down before the pigs get here. That'll be in another week or so. These are cattle panels, feedlot panels, and they are for cattle. However, they do get rather small at the bottom, but this is just for a training area. So my son will be out here working with the pigs. So this is not to maintain them permanently or to leave them alone. And so he'll be out here just working with them so that when he takes them to show, they'll know what to do. But anyway, here's the main pen area. Again, we don't have it wired all the way down yet. We just have the fence stretched out. We are using chain link poles. And what we're going to do, I can show you back here at the back. You want to have a shoulder rail or hip rail for the pigs. And you can see there's a board down at the bottom, and then this one up here. This is the shoulder rail or hip rail, and that's just the footing rail where the concrete was poured. We did concrete this because they get nasty if you don't. And you can see we're not finished yet. You can see this part over here. I'll have to go straight across with it. And this part here is actually missing the hip rail part, but it's laying on the ground over there. But what I'm going to eventually do, and you can see there's space between the fence and that board. So what I'll do at that point is take another 2x4 here on the outside of this and screw it into that, hold the fence in between the two pieces of 2x4, and that way they can't root their nose down under there. This part here will also have that hip shoulder rail on it. But let's go to the inside. Hang on. Having a trouble with the there it is. Sometimes you just have to muscle things on the farm. All right. But yeah, this is just you can see how tight the panel is there. This is goat fencing. Well, this is, yeah, it's that red band goat fencing. So this is all concrete, and we built their shelter here, and actually I fixed it to the hip and shoulder rail back there at the back, and we have beams coming up. Now this is a feature. Now you get to see a banana spider. That's what we call them. I call them zipper spiders. They're garden spiders here in Texas. You can see that big old sucker right there with those big old zip lines on it, and you can see it's a nice big house area. And here we're going to actually put hay in there for them to bed down in. Tin roof, and cut the tin to fit, and then of course overlapped it on the sides and left an overhang here at the front. But here's a feature I put on there for my son. This whole panel will open up, so that if he's going to clean it out, he can just open this when he goes to change the hay out and pull this open, and then he's got this big wide open area there that he can get all the old hay out and put new hay in and all that, and then close this back up, and then that'll give them a windbreak back over in behind it. Boy, it's hard to do. Okay, and so yeah, that's it. And make sure you use treated lumber on this. We used 4x4s. Now these are going to be heavy hogs now when they get big, so we did use 4x4 posts around the edges. And again, it's hooked to these rails here on the side as well. Nice iron fence posts, and then we did the chain link fence, and we did going ahead and let the concrete go around the bottoms of them. Well, this one here you can't see, it's been raining, so, but you can see that's well into the concrete. Oh, and if you don't have fence caps for these things, this is what we do. We just cut a bottle in half, put the top on this side, put the bottom on that side. Keeps the rain from going down inside the posts, keeps them from rusting out. We do have a double entryway here, and we designed this to where this fence here will hit and stop. So when we back the trailer up here, all we need is a block on this side over here, and the trailer will be backed up right there, we can lead the hogs up the ramp right into the trailer. So this is one side that keeps them from being able to go. It's like a chute. It creates a chute. All right, that's about it. We use T-posts all the way around just for the training area. And this is a nice solid hog or pig pen. All right, so that was the footage of me talking about the pig pen. It's important to note that it's not finished yet, and I will do a bonus show when we get it all complete and have pigs in it.
Yeah, and remember too, the reason we put the cement in there, I'm 67 years old and still learning stuff all the time, but when you carry those pigs into that 4-H show and march them around up there, the reason we got that training area, so they'll be used to the boy marching them around, but they want them things clean and haircut, and I didn't know you gave pigs haircuts, but evidently you do when you take them to these shows and things. This is going to make it a lot easier to bathe the pig and and get it ready for the show.
Yeah, and you even asked the guy what color lipstick he was going to put on it. Yeah. So, but that was part of his 4-H training, and that we had a guy here from the 4-H, and he brought clippers, the right kind, and we loaded the pig up in the horse trailer, and so they were in a confined space, and she was like a puppy dog anyway. That pig was.
Yeah, big old pet. Everything out here turns into pets.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, he has to work with a stick. It could be like a little. What do you call those little horse whips? With a little piece of leather on the end.
Whip, yeah.
Yeah, a little buggy whip. You can use those if you want, or you can just take a little stick and just so. What you have to train them to do, and that's a whole other show, is talking about training up a pig for 4-H. But you tap them on one side to make them turn one way, and tap them on the other side to make them turn another way. You want them to, when you tap them under the chin, to hold their nose up, because the judges will score higher if the pig's nose is up, and they can keep their nose up higher.
See, that's something else I learned.
Yeah, and then it's the horse trailer and all to get them back and forth, and you have to have a ramp, and there's a lot of consideration.
Yeah, pigs can't get up in that trailer as easy as them donkeys.
No, and so that's for a whole other show. Is there anything else we need to cover here?
I think that's about it on the pig pen.
All right, well, we'll keep this show brief, and thanks for listening. This is Spur.
This is Coot.
And don't forget to subscribe.